जीता मा गृधकस्य स्विद्धनम् कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषे च तं समः. I think suddenly this has gone. Yeah. कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषे च तं समः. एवं त्वयिनान्यतेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. Next verse is Asuryanam te loka andena tamasa vritah आस्ते प्रत्याभि गच्छन्ति एके चात्मनो जनः. You done that? So the first verse speaks about Ishavasya sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagatyen tatyena bhunjita mahagata tasya. Everything belongs to Lord. Lord gives everyone their particular share. Then kurvan neveha karmani jijivishe chatam samaha evam tvai nanyate tosti na karma lipyate. If one follows these instructions and he works in this way, he will live for 100 years. And also, if he continuously works like this, there will be no bondage. Evam tvai nanyate tosti na anyataha itah asti na karma lipyate nare. Then no karma binds him. He knows that he has got this particular share and everything belongs to Krishna. This is a main important knowledge. Everything belongs to Krishna. Whatever he has got, that also belongs to Krishna. He has got his share, so he has to work for his satisfaction. Today I put Guru Maharaj's glorification by Bhakti Maharaj. And he says, Guru Maharaj is to give whole salary to Srila Prabhupada. So that is what is complete surrenderance. And Prabhupada is to give $500 to his wife and then ask even Hisab Kitab also. That lecture is not there. Somebody else is glorified. Dashavat glorified. So they were completely surrendered to Lord. So their spiritual master is 100% surrenderance. Understanding that everything belongs to Lord. Now who are all asuras? Asurya namate loka andena tamasa vritah tanste pretyavi gachanti eke chatmano jana. Asurya means he is asura, he is a demon. Namate loka, he is famous as asura in the whole planets. Why? Because of his ignorance. Mama, this is I, this is mine, everything belongs to me. It's exactly opposite of the first verse. Everything belongs to Krishna, but the Asura, what he says, everything belongs to me, it is my time, it's my money. So he is avrataha, he is completely in ignorance. That lecture Prabhupada says, don't worry, I'll use your money. He used to say, not even don't worry, I will use your every single pie in a very responsible way. That's what Prabhupada is to tell to Guru Maharaj. So that is how if person is surrendered to the Guru Shishya Parampara, he is taken care automatically. Avrataha, but this person is in darkness. Ante Pritya Abhigachanti. So after death, where will he go? Eke cha Atmaha Janaha. He must enter the planet of ignorance. This is the killer of the soul. He is known as Atmahana. The demon is also known as Atmahana. Atmahana means one who is killing his opportunity. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasa vritaha. He goes to the hellish planet because he is also in tamas. Avritaha is covered by tamas. That is why tamste pretyabhigachanti. He has to enter where? To this type of hellish planet. Ekecha atmanaha janaha. Atmahana. He is the killer of the soul. He has lost his opportunity. So opportunity lies in taking advantage of the wonderful opportunity which our spiritual master has given to us. In this also, if we are like, okay, 80-20%, then that is not called full surrenderance. सर्वात्मना यः शरणं शरण्यं गतो मुकुन्दं परित्यक्तम्. Everything belongs to the Lord. That is what our spiritual master is Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, when he was working, used to give 100%. He was married at the time. He was leading a grahastha life. He had a small child. So just say, without even thinking anything, he used to give 100% to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada out of that is to give $500 to his wife for the maintenance of the house. And in that also Prabhupada is to ask all the Hisab Kitab, give me all the Hisab Kitab, expenditure, income, anyhow is 500, so expenditure. So that is what is surrenderance to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada took care of them. So that is how, it is very rare, such cases are very, very rare when you give 100% to your spiritual master. We give something, but not whole thing. But the verse says, Sarvatmana ya sharanam sharanyam kato mukundam paharta kartam. Only when a person is 100% surrendered, then he attains the spiritual world. The moment he thinks about himself, I am mine, anyhow, he is in devotion. So somewhere in this life or maybe in next life, he'll get an opportunity to give 100% to Krishna, whatever samarthya he has. Now here we are talking about whom? The asuras, the killer of the soul. They are not interested in Krishna. 4 types of people never come to Krishna. Krishna says, 4 types of people come to Krishna, 4 types of people don't come to Krishna. In that, one of the categories is asura. Asuras means they don't accept the authority of Krishna. Simple. What is the meaning of asura? They don't accept Maya Pratagyana Asuram Bhavam Ashita. Somebody known as Maya Pratagyana, where they consider the body of Krishna to be the product of matter. And who are asuras? Those who consider themselves as God. They don't understand the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So first was Isha Vasimidam Sarvam, that doesn't enter the brain. That doesn't enter the consciousness. That is how I and mine, they are completely avrataha. Avrata means they are covered. Covered by ignorance. Ignorance is what aham mama iti ajnanam. So naturally they'll go to the planet of ignorance only. Okay. Gita Mataji, read the verse. If you're entering now into the house or you're sitting, what is going? Okay, Goloka, you read.
Hare Krishna. Asurya namate loka andena tamasavೃತಾಃ tamste pretyabhigachanti ekichatma hanujanaः. Translation: The killer of the soul,
You read.
whoever he may be,
No.
must.
You read 2 paragraphs. After that, Gita Mataji will read 2 paragraphs.
Okay, Mataji. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibilities. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called suras, godly persons. And those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called asuras. Throughout the universe, there are only these 2 types of human being. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the Suras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are as illuminated as the path of the sun. Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body is compared to a solid boat designed especially to cross the ocean. The Vedic scriptures and the acharyas or saintly teachers are compared to expert boatmen, and the facilities of the human body are compared to a favorable breeze that help the boat fly smoothly to its desired destination. If, with all these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize his life for self realization, he must be considered Atmaha, a killer of the soul. Sri Ishopanishad warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Read.
There are swine dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those of animals, who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomach. Yet the modern soul-killing civilization has only increased the problems of the hungry stomach. When we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self-realization, he will say that he simply wants to work to satisfy his stomach and that there is no need of self-realization for a hungry man. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need for self-realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he is always threatened by unemployment. We are given the
Wait,
human
wait, wait,
form of
wait, wait,
life.
wait, 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 wait.
Krishna.
So Prabhupada started with what is the purpose of human life? To utilize this human life for self-realization. If he is not doing that, he is the killer of the soul, Atmaha. So that is how Isha Parishad is warning us. The killer of the soul is destined to go to the hellish planet. So Prabhupada is giving the example of the animals. Economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. So that is why human being is given all better lifestyle. But it said if we do not use it, we are actually a polished animal. We're just a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man. Because we are not taking interest in asking about self-realization. Okay, from here, Kalash, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. We are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine, and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self-realization, the laws of nature forces us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like asses and bullocks that pull cart. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse of Sri Ishopanishad. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asura planet and take birth in the degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness. In the Bhagavad Gita 6.41 to 643, it is stated that man who enters upon the
What is
path of self
641 and 43? What are the verses 641 and 43? Prapta punya kutam lokan ushitva shashvatim samaha shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga brashta vijayate. If he is in the process but he has not completed, then he gets unsuccessful yogi, he gets punya krutam, he is born in a pious family or he is born in a rich family, Shutva Shashatim Sama Shuchinam, Shrimatam. Shuchinam means very pure, Shrimatam, rich. In this way, he is getting an educated family, righteous family. Then till 43 has been told, Atha va yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhi dullabataram loke janmaya idrusham. So if the unsuccessful yogi, but he has a long practice of yoga in the previous life, Prapya Krutam, Prapya Punya Krutam Lokan was unsuccessful yogi who has done for a small time, but this person has done for a long time. Then he gets a family of a devotee. And such birth is very rare. That Prabhupada quotes his example also, his spiritual master's example also. And then 43rd verse says, Tattatam buddhi samyogam labade paurvadehikam yatate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau kurunandana. So on taking such birth, the person who has done, who has performed devotional service for a long time, he revives his lost consciousness, divine consciousness. And again he tries to make a further progress in order to achieve complete success. So the purpose of, again, the birth is there, but the birth is again in a rich family for a person who has done small practice. But for a person who has done long practice, he will get a birth in devotee's house. And that is how he will revive his divine consciousness and take advantage of the birth. Okay, read, Kalash.
In the Bhagavad Gita 6.41 to 43, it is stated that a man who enters upon the path of self-realization but does not complete the process despite of having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God is given a chance to appear in a family of Suchi or Shrimad. The word Suchi indicates a spiritually advanced Brahman and Shrimad indicates a Vaishya, a member of mercantile community. So the person who fails to achieve self-realization is given a better chance in his next life due to his sincere efforts in this life. Even a fallen candidate is given a chance to take birth in a respectable and noble family, one can hardly imagine the status of one who has achieved success. By simply attempting to realize God, one is guaranteed birth in a wealthy or aristocrat family, but those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic, too attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest regions of hell, as confirmed throughout the Vedic literature. Such a materialistic asura sometimes make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. The Bhagavad Gita 16, 17, 18 rebuffs such men by calling them Atma Sambhavita, meaning that they are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the votes of the ignorant and by their own material wealth. Such asuras, devoid of self-realization and knowledge of Ishva, the Lord, the Lord's universal proprietorship, are certain to enter into the darkest region. The conclusion is that a human being, we are meant not simply for solving economic problem on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of the material life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. Hare Krishna.
Now let us see what is there in 16, 16.17 and 18. So it is said, yeah. आत्मसंभावितः स्तब्धः धनमान मदन्विता यजन्ते नाम यज्ञस्ते दम्भेते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम् self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth, false prestige. They sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. So, ahankaram, balam, darpam, kamam, krodha cha samshritah. Mamatma paradeheshu pradvishanto bhyasuyakaha. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Lord, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others and blaspheme against the real religion. So here Prabhupada writes about these verses which are quoted in Bhagavad Gita, that such people, they are Atma Sambhavitaha. They consider themselves very great. They are empowered by the voters of the ignorant. So that is how they lose their human life. So human life is not meant for just solving economic development. In fact, this is the only chance by which we can transgress its law of nature. Now, fourth verse speaks about even though Lord is situated in one place, but Lord controls everyone. Lord can control the supply of air, the supply of rain. He is swifter than the mind and then overcome all others were. So that is how Prabhupada said that Lord overcomes everyone. Nobody can run as swift as Lord. He runs swifter than the mind also. Arjuna says, I cannot control the mind because it runs swifter than the wind. But Lord runs swifter than the mind also. So that is how powerful demigods, they cannot approach. So, अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नैन देवाप्नुवन् पूर्मर्षत् तद्धावतो ज्ञानते तितिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा ददाति अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो. He is one, he is fixed. Anejat manasa javiyo is more swifter. Naina devapnuvan purmarshad. No devatas can compete him. Tadhavato jnanate titishta. So fast he runs. Tasmin napo matarishva dadhati. Dadhati means supply. He controls the gods, Matarishva, the gods who control the wind and rain. Okay? Aditya, read.
Hare Krishna. Anejat ekam manaso javiyo naina deva apnuvan purvam arshad tadhavato nyan atyeti tishthat tasmin apomatarishva dadati. Translation. Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place, he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. Purport. Through mental speculation, even the greatest philosopher cannot know the Supreme Lord, who is the absolute personality of Godhead. He can be known only by his devotees through his mercy. In the Brahma Samhita 5.34, it is stated that even if a non-devotee philosopher travels through space at the speed of the mind or the mind for hundreds of millions of years, he will still find that the absolute truth is far, far away from him. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 further describes that the absolute personality of Godhead has his transcendental abode known as Golok, where he remains and engages in his pastimes, yet by his inconceivable potencies, he can simultaneously reach every part of his creative energy. In the Vishnu Puran, his potencies are compared to the heat and light that emanates from a fire. Although situated in one place, a fire can distribute its light and heat for some distance. Similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead, although fixed in his transcendental abode, can diffuse his different energies everywhere. Although his energies are innumerable, they can be divided into three principal categories: the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. There are hundreds and millions of subheadings to each of these categories. The dominating demigods who are empowered to control and administer such natural phenomena as air, light, and rain are all classified within the marginal potency of the absolute person. Lesser living beings, including humans, also belong to the Lord's marginal potency. The material world is the creation of the Lord's external potency, and the spiritual sky, where the kingdom of God is situated, is the manifestation of his internal potency. Thus, the different energies of the Lord are present everywhere. Although the Lord and his energies are non different, one should not mistake these energies for the supreme truth. Nor should one wrongly consider that the Supreme Lord is distributed everywhere impersonally or that he loses his personal existence. Men are accustomed to reaching conclusions according to their capacity for understanding, but the Supreme Lord is not subject to our limited capacity for understanding. It is for this reason that the Upanishads warn us that no one can approach the Lord by his own limited potency. In Bhagavad Gita 10.2, the Lord says that not even the great rishis uh,
And
great
Suras.
and suras can know him. And what to speak of the asuras for whom there is no question of understanding the ways of the Lord. This fourth mantra of Sri Ishopanishad very clearly suggests that the absolute truth is ultimately the absolute person. Otherwise, there would have been no need to mention so many details in support of his personal features.
Okay. So he is absolute person and so much personal features has been mentioned. He remains in one place, he controls everything, he runs faster than the mind. Even the demigods cannot run as fast as him. That means his personal feature has been spoken. He is not impersonal. Okay, Mana Rao, you read from here.
In Bhagavad, although individual parts and parcels of the Lord's potencies have all the symptoms of the Lord Himself, they have limited spheres of activities and are therefore all limited. The parts and parcels are never equal to the whole. Therefore, they cannot appreciate the Lord's full potency. Under the influence of material nature, foolish and ignorant living beings who are but parts and parcels of the Lord try to conjecture about the Lord's transcendental position. Sri Ishopanishad warns of the futility of trying to establish the identity of the Lord through mental speculation. One should try to learn of the transcendence from the Lord Himself, the supreme source of the Vedas, for the Lord alone has full knowledge of the transcendence. Every part and parcel of the complete whole is endowed with some particular energy to act according to the Lord's will. When the part and parcel living entity forgets his particular activities under the Lord's will, he is considered to be in Maya, illusion. Thus, from the very beginning, Sri Ishopanishad wants us to be very careful to play the part designated for us by the Lord. This does not mean that the individual soul has no initiative of his own, because he is part and parcel of the Lord. He must partake of the initiative of the Lord as well. When a person properly utilizes his initiative or active nature with intelligence, understanding that everything is the Lord's potency, he can revive his original consciousness, which was lost.
Bhagavad Gita speaks about it. Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam shimad Tadeva avagachatvam avatejas. Everything is Lord's energy. Whatever wonderful samarthya a person may have, that actually is Krishna's energy. Yeah, read.
He can revive his original consciousness, which was lost due to association with Maya, the external energy. All power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord and not otherwise. The Lord can be known by one who has adopted such a submissive service attitude. Perfect knowledge means knowing the Lord in His all features, knowing His potencies, and knowing how these potencies work by His will. These matters are described by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Upanishads.
So fifth verse. Tadejati tannejati taddure tadantike tadantarasya sarvasya tasarvasya bhayatah. By Friday, you should memorize all the five in 2 days. Yeah, you can do it. It's not very difficult. Tadejati, tannejati. I'll send voice recording. Tadejati, tadejati. Join it. Tadejati, tannejati, taddure, tadantike, tadantarasya sarvasya, tadsarvasyasya bhayatah. Tadejati, he walks. Tannejati, doesn't walk. Taddure, very far. Tadantike, very near. Tadantarasya sarvasya is inside, is outside, is everywhere. Tadantarasya sarvasya, tat sarvasyasya bhayata, tadu sarvasyasya bhayata. In this way, he is within also, he is outside also. Two contradictory statements, but where two contradictory statements harmonize, that is Krishna. Viruddhatasmin, viruddhasya. That means though it is viruddha, two things are viruddha. Samanya tasya, samanya means it becomes harmonizes. Though they are two contradictory statements, they harmonize. The Lord is far, Lord is near, Lord walks, Lord doesn't walk, Lord is inside, Lord is outside. So even though it may be contradictory, but where two contradictory statements harmonize, that is Krishna. So being in one place, he is able to control everyone. Being in one place, fixed in, that was fixed in one place. He runs swifter than the mind. How to really understand? That is why the most inconceivable, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, very, very difficult to understand. How Lord in one place is fixed in one place. Still he walks, still he doesn't walk. How is it that he is able to understand our thought processes? That is how Lord teaches as Brahman, Paramatma, that acts. As Paramatma, he knows all our desires, he is seeing all our activities. As Brahman, he is present everywhere. Yet, he is there in his own abode, isn't it? That is why, being in his own abode, why should he walk in this material world? So, to walk in the material world, he expands as Brahman. How is it that he is swifter than the mind and he is present inside also, outside also? So that is the Paramatma features. Three features has been spoken in this verse. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. That is why Lord, though he is far, he is near. Though he is inside, he is outside. Though he walks, he doesn't walk also. Over. We will read Diya Mataji, read. Diya and then Pushpa. Both of you will share this verse.
तदेजति तन्नेजति तद्दूरे तद्ध्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तद् सर्वस्य बाह्यताम्.
Tadu
Translation.
sarvasyasya. Sarvasyasya bhayatah.
सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यताम्.
Bhayatah. Read.
सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यताम्. Translation. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything. Purpose. Here is a description of some of the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities executed by his inconceivable potencies. The contradiction given here proves the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. He walks and he does not walk. Ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is illogical to say he cannot walk. But in reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power. With our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such contradictions, and therefore we conceive of the Lord in terms of our limited powers of understanding. For example, the imperialists
philosophers of the Mayavad school accept only the Lord's impersonal activities and reject his personal features. But the members of the Bhagavad school, adopting the perfect conception of Lord, accept his inconceivable potencies and thus understand that he is both personal and impersonal. The Bhagavatas know that without inconceivable potencies, there can be no meaning to the word Supreme Lord. We should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God with our eyes, the Lord has no personal existence. Sri Ishopanishad refutes this argument by declaring that the Lord is far away but very near also. The abode of the Lord is beyond the material sky, and we have no means to measure even this material sky. If the material sky is extended so far, then what to speak of the spiritual sky, which is altogether beyond it? That the spiritual sky is situated far, far away from the material universe is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.6. But despite the Lord being so far away, he can at once, within less than a second, descend before us with a speed swifter than that of a mind or wind. He can also run so swiftly that no one can surpass him. This has already been described in the previous verse. Yet, when the personality of Godhead comes before us, we neglect him. Such foolish negligence is condemned by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 9.11, where he says that the foolish deride him, considering him a mortal being. He is not a mortal being, nor does he come before us with a body produced of material nature. There are many so-called scholars who contend that the Lord descends in a body made of matter, just like an ordinary living being, not knowing his inconceivable power. Such foolish men place the Lord on an equal level with ordinary men. Because he is full of inconceivable potencies, God can accept our service through any sort of medium, and he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. Non believers argue either that the Lord cannot incarnate himself at all, or that if he does, he descends in a form of material energy. These arguments are nullified if we accept the existence of Lord's inconceivable potencies. Then we will understand that even if the Lord appears before us in the form of material energy, it is quite possible for him to convert this energy into spiritual
Okay.
energy.
Read. Finish of that paragraph.
Since the source of the energies is one and the same, the energies can be utilized according to the will of their source. For example, the Lord can appear in the form of Archa Vigraha, a deity supposedly made of earth, stone, or wood. Deity forms, also engraved from wood, stone, or other matter, are not idols as the iconoclast content.
Okay. From here, read. So, Archa Vigra are non-different from Lord himself. तुम्हारा प्रतिमा नहीं साक्षात ब्रजेंद्र नंदन. He is personally present. So read from here. 3 paragraphs you read, and then afterwards Jambavati Mataji will read 2 paragraphs. Yeah. Read, Pushpa.
In our present state of imperfect material existence, we cannot see the Supreme Lord due to imperfect vision. Yet those devotees who want to see him by means of material vision are favored by the Lord, who appears in a so-called material form to accept his devotees' service. One should not think that such devotees who are in the lowest stage of devotional service are worshipping an idol. They are factually worshipping the Lord, who has agreed to appear before them in an approachable way. Nor is the archer form fashioned according to the whims of the worshipper. This form is eternally existent with all paraphernalia. This can be actually felt by a sincere devotee, but not by an atheist. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says that how he treats his devotee depends on the devotee's degree of surrender. The Lord reserves the right not to reveal himself to anyone and everyone, but to show himself only to those souls who surrender unto him. Thus, for the surrendered soul, he is always within reach, whereas for the unsurrendered soul, he is far, far away and cannot be approached. In this connection, the two words, the revealed scriptures, often apply to the Lord. Saguna with qualities and Nirguna without qualities are very important. The word Saguna does not imply that when the Lord appears with perceivable qualities, he must take on a material form and be subject to the laws of material nature. For him, there is no difference between the material and spiritual energies because he is the source of all energies. As the controller of all energies, he cannot at any time be under their influence as we are. The material energy works according to his direction. Therefore, he can use that energy for his purposes without ever being influenced by any of the qualities of that energy. In this sense, he is nirgun, without qualities. Nor does the Lord become a formless entity at any time. For ultimately, he is the eternal form, the primeval Lord. His impersonal aspect or Brahman effulgence is but the glow of his personal rays, just as the sun's rays are the glow of the sun god. When the child saint Prahlad Maharaj was in the presence of his atheist father, his father asked him, "Where is your God?" When Prahlad
Wait, wait,
replied,
wait. The Lord becomes a formless entity at any time, nor does the Lord become a formless, for ultimately he has an eternal form. So here the Brahman aspect is impersonal and Paramatma is also impersonal, but Lord has a wonderful personal form. So from here, Jambavati Mataji, you read.
When the child Saint Prahlad Maharaj was in the presence of his atheist father, his father asked him, "Where is your God?" When Prahlad replied that God resides everywhere, the father angrily asked whether his God was within one of the pillars of the palace, and the child said yes. At once, the atheist king shattered the pillar in front of him to pieces, and the Lord instantly appeared as Narsimha, the half man, half lion incarnation, and killed the atheist king. Thus, the Lord is within everything, and He creates everything by His different energies. Through His inconceivable powers, He can appear at any place in order to favor his sincere devotee. Lord Narasimha appeared from within the pillar, not by the order of the atheist king, but by the wish of his devotee Prahlad. An atheist cannot order the Lord to appear, but the Lord will appear anywhere and everywhere to show his mercy to his devotee. The Bhagavad Gita 4.8 similarly states that the Lord appears in order to vanquish non believers and protect believers. Of course, the Lord has sufficient energies and agents who can vanquish atheists, but it pleases him to personally favor a devotee. Therefore, he descends as an incarnation. Actually, he descends only to favor his devotees and not for any other purpose. In the Brahma Samhita 5.35, it is said that Govinda, the primeval Lord, enters everything by his plenary portion. He enters the universe as well as all the atoms of the universe. He is outside his Virat, he is outside in his Virat form, and he is within everything as Antaryami. As Antaryami, he witnesses everything that is going on, and that he rewards us the results of our actions as karma phala. We ourselves may forget what we have done in previous lives, but because the Lord witnesses our actions, the results of our actions are always there, and we have to undergo the reactions nonetheless. The fact is that there is nothing but God within and without. Everything is a manifestation of his different energies, like the heat and light emanates from a fire. And in this way, there is a oneness among his diverse energies. Although there is oneness, however, the Lord in his personal form still enjoys unlimitedly all the pleasures enjoyed minutely by the tiny part and parcel living entities.
Okay. So 5.35, Brahmasamhita speaks. Eko pesau rachayitum jagadanda kotim Shaktirasti jagadanda chayaya dantaha Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So eko pesau, eko api means even though he is one. Rachayitum jagadanda, he has created jagada anda, many universes. They are like andas, kotim millions. That chatti asti. So his potency is there in this Jagadanda Achaya, in all the universes. Yadanta Andantarastaha. Though all these universes are scattered, but still, Paramanu Chasya, in every atom, Antarastham, he is present. Antarastham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. So Brahma Samhita speaks in a very elaborate way. Eko Pesau Jagad, Eko Pesau Jagadanda Kotim, there are Koti Jagadanda. And in this way, in every atom, Paramanu means in every atom, you are present, O Lord. So in this way, Lord is glorified by even Brahmaji. Brahma Samhita is given by Brahmaji. So the fact is, though Lord is within also, is without also. Whatever we see is the manifestation of different energies. Rasa Shaktir Vivideva Shruyate, Lord says. Whatever things are happening is only because of my energy. Nadasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Lord doesn't do any work. Lord is enjoyed, Bhuktaram. But then he gets all the work done by his energy. And his energies are completely scattered everywhere. That is how this energy, or the features of Lord, energies of Lord, they all act on behalf of him. So energies are different from the features. Understand it very nicely. Features are two, Brahman and Paramatma, and he himself. Energies, multifarious energies, they are the different demigods who are scattered, who also act on his behalf. Okay? So here we'll stop. Any questions you can ask.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Okay. Mataji, for Archa Vigraha, you have given the reference of one shlokana. Which was that, Mataji?
That is Tumara Pratima Nahi. This is in the Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Tumara Pratima Nahi. You are not a Pratima. Tumara Pratima Nahi Sakshat Brijendranandana. So Sakshat Brijendranandana. It is not that you are just Pratima. No. Archa Vigraha are persons. That is how two principles Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from every sampradaya. So from Madhvacharya, from Brahma Madhva Gaudi Sampradaya, from Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, then it became Gaudi Sampradaya. Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, or Brahma Sampradaya, you can say. Madhvacharya gave these two principles. Deities are persons, complete refutation of Mayavad philosophy. Deities are persons. They talk, they walk, but they are in the Asahaya Rupa. They will not show their potency, but they have complete potency. They are dependent on our care. You dress them, then they are dressed. You make them eat, then they eat. It is not that they cannot do anything, but they intentionally come in this form, our Sahaya. The river deities have to be cared. Our Sahaya Rupa. Okay. Any other doubt? Jambavati Mataji, you are absent for a long time. So again, this time, how? Because even minimum attendance is not there. You have to talk to Bindu about this. Last year also you missed your course because of your absence. So in lecture of instructions, I think you have not given exam also, right?
I'll try to be regular, Mataji, from now onwards.
But
was
Ishopanishad, at least you can consider. But in lecture of instruction, you have to reappear in the other next batch. Practically, you will not
The
there.
word is Gumur Mataji, yes.
No problem. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
So, Vanchakadvarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavane Vishnu.